Hi, it's Nell, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a recipe for a seed starting mix. So stick around for that. So if you like videos about gardening, both indoors and outdoors, be sure to subscribe because I upload videos here on a regular basis. So yes, I think it's February 16th, so spring is fast approaching and it's time to start seeds. And this is a very light soilless mix, which is what you want for starting seeds. And you want it to be very light because you want those seeds to be able to germinate into plants and emerge very easily through a very light mix. Oh, and I did consolidate the succulent gardens I made for Christmas. If you saw that DIY, I have them out here because I was watering them today. And then I picked up a little earth star, a cryptanthus, because it was only 99 cents. So how could I resist? So that's out here being watered too. But back to the seed starting mix. Now, this is not a recipe I came up with. It was formulated by the man who did the succulent cactus mix that I shared with you probably about 6 or 8 months ago. Mark Dimmitt, he's here in Tucson, and the recipe was shared with me by the folks at EcoGrow, which is a fun plant store here in Tucson. So I thought because it's been shared that I would share it with you. Oh, and another good thing about this mix is that you can use it for propagating cuttings, both stem cuttings and leaf cuttings. It works great because the roots can easily emerge off of the stems or the leaves because the mix is so nice and light. And it can be used for houseplants, succulents here. This is one of my succulent pots. A few of the stems do need cutting back and propagating. As you can see, they're flopping over. Can be used for softwood cuttings. I could take leaf cuttings off of any of these succulents here and it works just fine. Now, I don't grow that much from seed anymore. I live in Tucson. The summers are really hot, but I do grow arugula in the winter time because that is so easy to grow from seed and very tasty too. But I was born and raised on a small farm and my dad grew everything from seed, so I'm very familiar with growing from seed and how rewarding it can be. But this was all brought on because of my new kitty, Sylvester. He loves to chew on the spider plant. Out of all the plants I have, it's the only one, so that's good. I just adopted him about 2 months ago, so he's new. So I got some cat grass, and that's going to be a separate video starting and growing this to show you how easy this is to grow from seed. But anyway, so let's head over to my work table. I have all the ingredients over there and we can get going on the mix. So here are the ingredients here. And if you're interested in what each one does, I will have that in the blog post for you rather than yak on about it now. It'll be in the post. So we have vermiculite, we have the lime, the ag lime, elamite, there's perlite, and there's also cocoa peat. That's the big block. Way over on the right, I have my trowel, gloves, and the bin that I'm going to mix it up in. It's the same bin that I mix the succulent and cactus mix up in. Oh, and the elamite can be hard to find. So what I'm going to include a link to is the azomite, which is something that you can substitute for it. It's another mineral substance. Okay, glasses on. I got the recipe so I don't get too far off track. And what you do with the cocoa peat, if you haven't worked with that, or the cocoa fiber, cocoa peat, it is actually an environmentally friendly alternative to peat moss. So It does pretty much the same thing that peat moss does. And here it is. It's very light. I'll put it in here when you break off pieces of the brick and you soak it, and then it turns into this fiber, peat. So I am going to make half of this recipe because I'm not doing that much cat grass. So this one calls for 5 scoops of peat. So I'm just going to do 2.5. Okay, so I'm going to start with the cocoa peat. 2.5 scoops of that. And you can use whatever you want for a scoop. It's just a proportion thing. 2.5. All right, so we got that. And then it calls for 5 scoops of the perlite. And if you've never worked with perlite before, it's very light and it's a little bit on the dusty side. So I'm going to do 2.5 scoops of that. Ooh. I should have been like those food bloggers who have everything all measured out, and the chefs who just go, okay, instead of doing that. So, okay, 1/2 scoop of vermiculite. So I'm going to put in just about 1/4 of a scoop of the vermiculite, and it calls for 1/2 cup of ag lime and the elamite. And like with the succulent and cactus mix, it wasn't quite clear, so I asked them, so it's 1/2 cup of each. So what I'm going to do, this is what I use as my 1/2 cup, so I'm just going to do 1/4 cup of the ag lime and 1/4 cup of the elamite or the azomite. And these ingredients are fairly similar to the succulent and cactus mix, so if you're making that, you can easily make this. So I'm going to get it stirred up, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like, and that is all there is. Easy, huh? Okay, so here it is. As you can see, it's very light and very fluffy. Perfect for seeds. I didn't make that much, so I could have just done it with just my hands, but the trowel works just fine too. And there it is. And then you just go and you fill whatever container you're going to use. There's trays. I'm just going to do 4-inch pots for the cat grass because that's going to be fine for what I'm doing, but you can buy biodegradable seedling pots. You can use toilet paper rolls. I know people do that. They use rolled up newspaper into rolls to start seeds. So there's all kinds of things that you can use. So there it is. So that is it. Easy. This mix will last for a while. By the way, I'm sure you could store it until the following year if you didn't use all of it. It would actually probably keep for a long time. So it's about 5 o'clock on Sunday, and while there's still a little bit of light, I'm going to get that cat grass started. So I hope you have found this video to be helpful and that you will make some seed starting mix of your own if that's the kind of thing that you like to do. I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get out in our gardens or into our indoor gardens and make our worlds a more beautiful place. I thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Happy almost spring. Bye.